Hi, I'm George Sicalius, and this is my sprint1 report. I'm going to start off with a quick demo just to showcase some of the features. So the ship moves using WASD controls. It can collide with the border. If I fire a bullet, it will damage the mushroom and destroy itself. Only one bullet can be fired at a time. So yeah. Okay, jumping into the code, in order to keep track of the mushrooms, I have a class called Mushroom Grid. Mushroom Grid spawns all the mushrooms, and it stores all of the mushrooms in an array that functions similarly to a grid. Actually, where is it? Here it is. Okay, so this is the array that stores all the mushrooms. So the mushrooms similar to the grid. The coordinates of the mushroom are used to determine its index inside the grid. So let's look at the constructor just to get an idea. So what this does is this just spawns in the mushrooms. So it iterates through the array, and depending on the random value, it will either spawn a mushroom or spawn a mushroom and store the pointer in a corresponding indice in the array, or it'll set the index to the null pointer. So yeah, that's mushroom grid. So jumping over into the ship constructor. So the constructor, all it does is it initializes all the values. It sets its starting position. It does a quick collision check just to make sure that the starting position isn't on top of a mushroom. If it is, then it'll update its position accordingly. I'm going to go into more detail about detect collision later. So jumping down into update. So first thing I do is I check to see if the player pressed space. If the player pressed space, then I go into my fire method, which fires a bullet. So this is my fire method. Is loaded controls the amount of bullets that's on screen. Let's just say that is loaded is true. It starts off true. First thing it does is it sets a false, and then a new bullet's created. When this bullet is destroyed, it'll set is loaded back to true, and then the player can fire again. Okay, and that's all that fire does. Okay, so then after fire, it goes into the move function method. Blah. So first thing I do is I just get my inputs. Using my inputs, I get a vector to determine my new position. Then I run some collision tests on it. If my new x collides with a mushroom, then zero it out. If my new y collides with a mushroom, zero that out. I was gonna later I'm gonna go over this and change it so it's a little better, but for now, like, this works. And then down here, I'm just checking to make sure that the player is still within its boundaries. It's still in the player area, and it's not off screen at all. Okay, now going into detect collision. So this is detect collision. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm finding the coordinates of my bounding box, and I'm just checking them against the mushroom grid to make sure that I'm not overlapping with any mushrooms. So all of these calculations, they're just meant to translate the coordinate position into a corresponding index on the mushroom array. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.